This
So in the
conference
supply
will
chain
now be
management,
recorded.
I have worked with different implementations of APO in my past experiences with GATP, PPDS, DP, SNP, and I have worked with the modules also like production planning, SD, and also MM, and also the whole logistics. And I have worked for different industries, so my experiences come with automobiles, chemicals, life sciences, mill industries, um, fabrication, a few of them to mention. So I have now taken care of SAP S4 HANA with advanced planning and also SAP IBP, especially in demand and supply planning and CPIDS, cloud platform integration data solutions for EMEA locations. The clients from different EMEA locations and North America are the major sector in which I try to work for different clients. Now, I want to brief about how our sessions are classified into, and I can then take up a few questions from you people. So first starting with something called gap analysis sessions, followed by the training contents. I believe you're able to see my screen and it's not straining your eyes. Is that okay? The
No,
font
no.
is okay, people?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, one,
Yeah, it's
one.
okay.
Yeah. And then followed by user stories. I'll brief about each of these sessions, what would be the agenda and how are they going to help us in the context of understanding the background. So let us start with gap analysis sessions. All the prerequisite topics which are essentially needed for us in order to understand the actual topics will be covered under this gap analysis sessions. We will speak about different players who are involved in the context of planning, how this new emerging technology is going to be useful for the context of planning, and what makes the client to think about SAP IBP to be the next move for their IT framework point of view, the changes in the landscape, how it is going to be useful. So all of those prerequisite topics, I would say, will be covered under this gap analysis sessions, followed by training content. So I believe my coordination team has already circulated you with a Word document. If not, probably you will receive it by end of the day, which speaks about the different topics which will be the part of our discussion. Did all of you have received the training content? Is that yes?
Yes, I got it. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Even if you're not, you will receive it by end of the day. Okay. Now, the another important aspect is about this user stories. So what is a user story? So we will speak about the different players who are involved. What are the different challenges they would, come across in the context of planning, and how does this problem statement has been, he's able to manage with the different features and the methodologies what SAP IBP supports. Now, what makes SAP IBP so special for us? So let us try to know little more, have a clear more vision on it. Let us try to make this question a bit louder by taking the same question: why SAP IBP? So I want to hear from you people. So what's your thought process about SAP IBP? What makes the client to think about it? Yeah, maybe I can start with Gajanan.
Oh, it's a cloud-based solution, SaaS application.
Mhm. Okay, cloud-based solution, yes. Mm-hmm.
I think it's more into planning. Very robust in APO. We had a lot of limitations, so here the focus is mostly from planning perspective, and it can be easily integrated.
That's a very important point, yes. Mm-hmm. Gajanan and Sasidhar, do you want to add a few new points?
So basically, I would like to hear from you, Raghu, the actual
Mm-hmm.
need for
I shall,
IBP.
sure, I
Yeah.
will. I'll surely add. I'm going to speak about the topics, whatever I'm still making a note of them. I'm going to speak more
Maybe
about them in the detail.
maybe what I can see, the UI or the analytics or the graphical presentations might be more robust and more faster compared to any other tool in using IBP. Not sure. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing
Mm-hmm.
it.
But yeah, it is true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, but that it is. I think it is a replacement of APO, demand planning, and SNP. But something new, it is available in the IBP, but how it is that I don't know. Maybe according to the current situation, how the through like apps, like somewhere in the like what is that, cloud based. So the interface is maybe user friendly like these. But I don't know exactly what how the exactly the extra features which is available other than the DP. That is,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
compared,
But
yeah.
yeah, the points, whatever you people have mentioned, are absolutely yes true. That why would a client would think about them? But we'll try to take a few more insights and then probably a little brief more about each of this point has a few more additional dimensions what we have to look into, and then let us try to elaborate a few of the topics also. Like firstly, cloud-based solution. So far, the older products what SAP has provided, they are all were mostly they were on-premise solutions, right? So now as a cloud solution, so what is the advantage a client would see the moment when I say it's a cloud-based solution?
You can log in from wherever you are. So there is no dependency that, especially, we have seen in this pandemic conditions, you don't have to go to office. You can log in, actually connect anywhere.
Yeah, great, nice. Anywhere, anytime, and any place. That's true. Okay. So additional to this, and we're going to speak about something called TOC. What does that mean? Is total ownership cost. We're going to speak about something called metered services. So let us start with
Is that
TOC.
something like subscription, based on subscription? Is that when you say metered services?
Correct. Yes, true. So let us start with TOC and then I will go for metered services. Total ownership cost. Now, we all know that with our previous experiences, on an often basis, probably when you have to do an upgrade or changes to your database, probably we used to make a planned downtimes or unplanned downtimes, wherein the client has to face, sometimes some surprises also, I would say, where an upgrade has done and probably the system was not coming up, right, people? Or maybe, uh, unfortunately, if there was an announced downtime, maybe that can hamper their business, right? So all of these things they used to have, so that to ensure that they are trying to manage it at a right time. So probably basis people they used to take care of the database usage, they used to archive the tables and all those stuff to ensure that the availabilities of the databases are high at any given point of time. So there was a continuous monitoring, there was a continuous, upgrade process going on in the background so that they are trying to make the smooth processing or transition of data, right? So this was a very huge challenge for the client. But how it is changed in this current cloud solution? You must have heard something like AWS, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, like Alibaba. All of these are different service providers. What are they trying to provide us? What are the service they are providing us? So probably they are harvesting a huge database, right? So they are harvesting a huge database for us, and we can store our data in that. Now, what is the benefit you have, Raghu, by taking this total ownership cost point of view, how it is going to reduce? Now, the overall process, like say maintenance, the availability of space and all is going to be taken care by the service providers. Now, with this, the cost is going to reduce. How it is going to reduce? How do I say it as total ownership cost a reduction firstly? Now, let us say I have bought a car, for example, for $1,000. Now I will say it is I have a very specific purpose why I have bought a car. So I have to make it for transport purpose. Now to efficiently use this car, I have to say that every month I have to make it certain maintenance activities to be performed. Like say for example, I have to take it for servicing to the service center, and every month let us say I'm spending around $100. I'm exaggerating the value, okay? However, so $100 per month. So overall, it is into 12. So overall, what is the cost I have invested on this car is $1,000, of course, plus $1,200. So this is the overall total ownership cost for me in order to access this car as is, with all the features what it has, or with all the way how it should work. So I have to spend so much of amount, right? Now this process point of view, what this service providers are going to do, let us understand how are they trying to reduce this. Now because they're doing it mass, we all people know when you go for bulk, the cost could come down, right people? So here instead of $100, maybe that Amazon Web Services, let us say, is going to give me for $10 or $30, let us say. Now what would happen now? So it is overall $360. So this has reduced my overall asset cost. This is what we say it as total ownership cost. Now this attracts the client because they are able to see a quick win, and also they are able to see there are some some increases in their uh, savings, right? So that is what I would say. So total ownership cost is one of the important factor that makes them to go for cloud solution. But do you have any idea why would you say it as cloud? Anyone? Any guess, thought process?
That's a common database or server which is being shared by multiple people, and it is not on premise. Like you have to completely take care of your own server database that is taken care by a vendor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to an extent,
It's all
true.
tenant
So where
based. It's all tenant based. Yeah.
yeah, that's good that you are initiating that the discussions with tenant. That's nice. Superb. So when I say it's an on-premise, I physically know, Raghu physically knows where is the server located. He knows the space, he knows the exact location where the server is located, right? But when I say it's a it's a cloud solution, probably I could never identify where the server is existing. So though I say it is AWS is trying to provide me, in spite of that, I still cannot know where it is located physically, right? So now a small question could come. Raghu, when it is on-premise, you have a complete assurance that this database cannot be accessed by someone else because it is within your premises. But now it is existing out of your premises. So can't it be compromised system by which your data can be accessed? This is some of the new challenges what we are looking at. Am I right? Because earlier it was on-premise, so there is no you know chances of getting your system getting compromised in the data access point of view. But here when it is cloud, you can have it, right? So to ensure that what are the data you are trying to store and it is going to be accessed only with a valid key. So we have like two key authorizations. You have three key authorizations and all. So there are different processes which are there. So we are going to speak about more about them, the security aspects point of view, what SAP has brought, how a firewall can be built, and how it makes this cloud technology to be introduced with something new topics, what we should also know. Okay, in our upcoming sessions we'll speak about them. So this is one of the advantage what we have in the context of TOC, what makes the client to think about a cloud-based solution. Okay, how about metered service? So any idea metered service, what does it mean? Pay for whatever
Based
you
on
have
the
used.
It's
usage, you
paper
will pay.
paper
It's
services.
not full price. Instead of a fixed price, it's like pay as per the usage.
Nice, yes, pay
And
for
it
what
can
you have.
be scaled up and scaled down. So that's
Yes,
also easy.
very good. Yes, it can be easily scaled up, scaled down. Perfect, perfect. So additional to this, there's one important feature you would give me as a user where I will say that okay, this is a metered service, is ease of subscription and unsubscription. If only when I'm able to easily subscribe it and easily I can unsubscribe it, only then I will say I can use this as a metered service. If not, probably it would be difficult. So how it is possible, how are we trying to get it is with the CPIDS. So CPI, Cloud Platform Integration. It's all about an integration platform where it gives me different services. Is one of the advantage what I can see. Where as a client, if I want to take some additional newly inbuilt technologies to be adopted, I could get it. Now, as we come to the topic of technologies, do you all know that SAP IBP is already built with AI, artificial intelligence algorithms, right? So the one of the most happening thing, right? So AI. So AI has been adopted by IBP to build up the algorithms. So we will see them like how are they going to be useful and how it makes a difference in the context of data processing and all in our upcoming sessions. However, so but yeah, so adopting to these technologies. So we are still different. Other we have Hadoop, we have data lake services, um, we have integration capabilities. All of this can be easily subscribed by me. So as a user or as a planner, when I want to subscribe to it, I could do. And when I say, okay, I don't need it further anymore, I can unsubscribe it. So this gives me a feature to, to test my environment, the feasibility of it with the new applications. So I don't have to wait for a complete upgrade to happen. And you people already know that we are working with Agile or DevOps as the frameworks now. No more waterfall solutions, right? So probably you know that the most highest durations in which your implementation could go around is around six to 8 months at max. So in that case, what type of advancements is SAP IBP is bringing up? What is the difference when I compare with APO? We will also try to speak a few more things about it also. Okay. So then the next capability I was speaking about integration capabilities. So IBP
One
is a
question
standalone
is,
system now. Yeah.
this what you're saying is a cloud based. Is it a private cloud or is only for that for all the clients is the same one platform? How
Mhm. Yeah.
in
So
the cloud there
for
are two
this,
types.
there are like three different services what we need to know about.
Yeah, that is how they are providing it.
Sure. So any idea what would they stand for? Abbreviations what I maintained here.
Software as a service, platform as service,
Mm-hmm.
application.
So these are the three different offerings what uh, any cloud solution providing can provide us. So the current enablement solutions what most of the clients are using are this platform as a service, right?
Raghu,
If I have to,
application and software, it's like both same, right? I think ISAS, infrastructure as a service, because application and software, it's all same, or you have another service here?
you have okay, for our ease of understanding, I'm going to draw a simple diagram which speaks about three-tier architecture for us. A good question. We know this three-tier architecture, right? The lowest layer will be your database layer.
Database layer,
The little above will be your application layer. On the top of
presentation.
it is your presentation. Awesome. Now, if I want to classify this three layers point of view, if I have to slice it down, like as three different feature offerings, I will refer it as platform as a service, application as a service, and software as a service. Let us try to understand this. Database point of view, I'm trying to access some other person. So I'm really slicing down this part. What are the things I have to take care about? This is all taken care by some other third party system, right? Like we spoke about AWS, let us say. Now, within this cloud as a solution, I could have public cloud, private cloud. I have hybrid cloud also. Okay, so public and private is understood, very clear. What is hybrid? Now, in that case, where a certain amount of portion of services will only be given for a specific categorized customers. So it is something what we are saying as hybrid. And when you come to public, like it is easily accessible and it can be stored by different other new creating applications also, irrespective of, so it's like open source, let us say, in that way. So examples, they take your Gmail. You don't pay the money to access your Gmails, but you all people know, because wherever you are accessing your mails, it is not stored on your devices, right, people? You don't see your mails are stored on your device, but rather it is stored on cloud. Do you all agree with me? Because you can see you can see the same mails in your laptop, in your mobile phone, or in your tablet also. Am I true? So it is getting stored over a
Yes.
cloud, and you don't pay for it. So we don't pay for Gmail, right? So that means it is as a public cloud. So it is, but in spite of being public, Raghu cannot access some other person's mails. If I'm able to do that, I would say it's a compromised application, right, people? If not, only then I would say it is still public, and you are able to see all of them are able to access the same space, but still you are having your own confidentiality. But when I say private, so completely it is designated, designed for a specific customer. Okay, and the hybrid, as I said you about, so depending on the usage and depending on the priorities you give to me, I'll give you the first space accessible and all, then followed by the next of them. Now, the platform as a service is a place where we are speaking about the current solutions where you would try to install your whole SAP NetWeaver, let us say example, the where you're basically your the basic SAP would start reaching out to the database point of view. It is installed over this platform as a service. In this case, the database which is harvested by, let us say, Amazon. Right, this is the offering what we are speaking about currently. What is application as a service then? Now, going forward, maybe the offerings could be like this. You want to create your own apps, you know and you need certain assistance or certain tools by which you can make it easier to accessible. Then comes the application as a service. Now we are speaking about the capabilities of integrating different technologies like AI, R language, right? IoT, Internet of Things. Maybe you might have heard about something called SAP Leonardo. Anyone, you heard about this term, Leonardo?
So
SAP
that's your
Leonardo.
IoT platform, right?
Yeah. So all of these different technologies, they need you to, you cannot go for a normal SAP app, right? You cannot use the SAP technology point of view, what is the platform you have, application way, how you will present it doesn't suffice you in order to compete with these different technologies, right? So there comes application as a service, where he would give you a services that you are going to get introduced with different languages by which you are able to access. Like you have now SAP, we have UI5, a technology by which you can create in the background, you can call Java, right? You can call C++, right? And there you are creating your fairy apps. Now you see here, this is as an application the SAP is providing you, or the offerings will be provided to you, so that you are able to integrate, or you are able to make up your own code by which, or your say your own application way of writing the code, so that it is easily able to access this different sort of information. People, are you so far, are you able to get it? Application as a service.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So one of the another feature which you can easily correlate for application as a service is probably the mashup apps. For example, you use Uber to book a cab for yourself, but you also see that Uber is using another application called Google Maps, let us say, to locate your current physical location. So one application is using and another application to in order to make it effectively utilized. We say it as mashup apps, right? So all of these are different examples for your application as a service, where one service is trying to utilize and another service. Hello.
Yeah, understood. But
Yes,
I'm not able to get the context here why we are spending so much time on this rather than spending time to understand IBP concepts or IBP related stuff.
So probably we are trying to understand how the framework is different when I compare with ECC and APO, as when it was an on-premise, we didn't had so many different offerings what we had now. So we need to also trying to understand how the framework is different when we compare with the architecture point of view, when ECC and APO as two different
but
boxes and the
yeah, it
on-premise
is.
solution.
Is this IBP? It comes under what, public cloud or private cloud? Either both options are they can provide. That's my question.
Mhm. Of course, I could use a private cloud as a solution, but depending on the services what you're trying to take from the service provider, as I said about AWS, or whether I speak about Alibaba, who are the service providers, they have a different charge codes when you go for say a dedicated cloud space when you need. But yeah,
Let's face it, but
uh,
at that IBP software, the client has to
it can
purchase
be
and
used.
install in that.
It's
We
just
can
see
install that.
whatever the database it is, your application layer and presentation layer, they would work. You're trying to change the way how your database should be accessible by multiple or not only with the one single instance, right? So that will not impact your performance of your IBP itself.
Mainly why I'm asking, see, this is so whether which option is there, that's why I'm asking. Is it private, both can, or both they are providing? See, normally private cloud, we cannot do any enhancements like that, they cannot give that because of it will impact to other clients also. So even if it is a private means, we have to take the own space that what you're saying, whatever it is, AWS or Amazon Web Services, then we can use our own like install and but wherever they require that enhancements are, we can do it in that way or how? That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Um, so I will not take this topic of how the developments could be possible as of now, because there are multiple other topics which I have to speak about. Like I have to speak about the instance tenant point of view, and also I have to speak about the camel architecture
No,
what
no,
we
I am not
follow in the
asking
context. But yeah, but of
what
course,
my
the bottom
question.
line is that
I am
we
asking
can
whether it is possibility is there or not asking what developments done. That's when I'm not asking this. Is there option
sure.
like is there or not? That's why that is my question.
Yes, yeah,
Or
we
otherwise,
have
it's
an option.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because of every client have their own some requirements. So according to
Mhm,
that, if it is because of what I observed in recent my one project, we have Oracle transportation, we had a cloud that is a public cloud. That what we are asking anything, no, this is not possible. This is a due to cloud. That is the reason. So like
mhm.
this same way, is it or otherwise like how we are doing the normal in our APOs and enhancement, if wherever the requirements, those can be possible or not in this current IBP.
It's possible.
That's okay. Okay, glad to get. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are expecting here that mainly our session that my job is currently in the SAP production planning ECC. Sales
Mhm,
and operation planning is there. Okay.
mhm,
So
mhm,
that sales and operation planning, the finally we'll get the rough cut planning convert into the demand and
mhm,
demand to MRP. That is a cycle. But if
mhm,
come to APO, normally the planned orders or requirement directly coming from the demand plan, correct? That plan may be converted into they are doing the MRP run. That is the one way. But in the IBP, I hear that somewhere confusion. They're saying SOP and DP. What is this difference? Both that's I didn't understand that was.
mhm.
So, can you please explain that part? What
Mhm.
is the differences in this both in the IBP
Sh-
point of
sh-
view, SOP and DP?
Sure, Shashi. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will speak about the also the modules which are the part of SAP IBP, what are the different other offerings what SAP is providing us, and I'll try to brief it more how it is happening now in the context of S4 HANA and SAP IBP or SAP ECC and IBP as a solution offerings. Yeah. So yes, additional to that, now integration capabilities is also a very important role. So we only used to have CIF or BW for our connectivity of data from ECC to APO, let us say, right? But we have CPIDS, Cloud Platform Integration Data Services, and also Smart Data Integration capabilities in order to connect to SAP IBP. So SAP IBP is now a standalone system. It supports uh, you know RDS solutions to make your implementation faster. In order to take the features codes of SAP IBP, in order to realize them or to make a quick POCs, clients can now use RDS solutions. So it is now, as when I say it is is built as an isolated solution, so it can easily be connected to any OLTP system. So if you have a JD Edwards, a client comes with JD Edwards, he comes with Microsoft Dynamics, any of this, still you are you are welcome to use SAP IBP. So that's a very important feature code changes when we refer to the older offerings with ECC and APO. Let us say example, that's a very important change they brought. Okay, so in order to also take up the question from our one of the aspirant, Sasidhar, we should also know about what are the different modules of SAP IBP.
Okay.
These are the major offerings of SAP IBP. And additional to things, there are also offerings like shelf life planning and demand driven MRP. And we also have like SAP for finance solutions. So these are new upcoming offerings what SAP is trying to focus on, but these are the major offerings what SAP is providing. And how are the offerings are going to be provided? How do we see them? How are we going to realize them? We are going to speak more about them in our upcoming sessions. So each module has a significant roles and responsibilities. For example, when I speak about the response, it is a very tight integration with your execution system, your ECC or S4HANA system, right? So the demand which is which has been generated, so how you can make it more reliable, how you can try to make your forecast more you know adaptable, is what your IBP demand would do. And how you are managing your sales and operations, would your sales and operations planning would help you for, and then making it to a realistic approach from your strategic to a tactical and to the operational planning. Your response is being connected to your S4 HANA or S4 or ECC system, wherein you can also make further more responsive changes to the real time, how they can be impacting your planning can be addressed using this SAP IBP for response, right, Ceci? So this is how there's a difference when I compare it with ECC and APO. So yes, of course, demand planning and supply network planning modules of SAP APO uh, are highly, influencing the way how these modules would work. But they are not limited to the same offerings what they have, but they have little more different offerings or say different feature codes that makes them different when we compare with APO system. Yeah. Of all, demand and S&OP are most stable, I would say, or more matured modules, whereas the others, they are trying to improvise for every release. I believe you are all aware that for every 3 months we get a new release, right? Because they are emerging, they are trying to make adopt for the new offerings what most of the clients are looking forward for. So that's the reason why they are trying to come with every 3 months their new release with the new offerings which can be adopted by the clients. Okay, did it answer your question,
So,
Sasi?
Raghu, one question I have on this
No,
every quarterly release. So, is it a challenge for the clients who are already on IBP that whatever the release is coming with certain modifications is impacting in a bad way to the existing clients, that their some solutions are getting disturbed, or is it a smooth transition happening without any disturbance?
There's a smooth transition happening. The SAP gives you announcement of simplification. It gives you the topics of awareness about what are the new changes they are bringing up as the new features. So, do you people have ever experienced? You say, for example, you go to MM03. You say, as a planner, think about a planner point of view. You say, oh, I don't like this transaction. I don't see there's a lot of information which is needed for me. Can you give a feedback to SAP? No, right? You don't have such a framework earlier. Do you all agree? Right? But this is the current phase where SAP is taking the feedback from the users. It is trying to improvise how it could be more. So if it is the same frequent question, if they are receiving, probably they are trying to get it modified. They are trying to enrich the experience. So that's the current situation now. Number one, and yes, this transition where they are trying to upgrade for every 3 months. This is a certain procedure they follow. How do they follow and all? There's a very good approach what they are following. I'll explain you more as we progress further on the how the offerings are offered or the different solutions are offered, and then we will speak also about how this every 3 months transition, what are the different steps a planner or as a consultant where you place a vital role, what are you going to steps you are going to follow is what we are going to understand in our upcoming sessions.
is this when you are releasing that every 3 months? What the question is comes. So what my experiential wise, as a point of view, Oracle point of view, OTM, what I explained, I told you earlier, we have our client is using the OTM, the cloud based. So what they are doing every time, so when they are releasing time, before that they are sending, we are going to release this next version, but please check your existing functionality in the development system, that whatever quality before going to the production. Please check and confirm it. That is the reason we are facing that one by one. It means every time we need to testing is required from all the client side when they're releasing before.
If I have to adopt to the new version, I would do, but it's not a mandate for me that I have to adopt for the every new release. Number one. Okay, so as how it was also with our older SAP versions, upgrade would come. Essentially, if I feel that most of these different challenges what I was facing can be addressed with this new upgrade which has ever come, I will do it, right, in a similar lines. So probably even if you have not met with your testing point of view and you say that okay, I don't want this upgrade for me, what are the solution what is offered for me, it suits best, I'm okay with it, I'm still okay to go ahead with the current version, right? So but it is too early for me to brief you how do you skip the upgrade or and all. But yes, the answer is there's there is no rush for the client, or the client need not worry about okay, oh my god, this has changed, what has happened to my application tomorrow. Is it going to be full of surprises for me? No application working or no fear say the data sequence reports what I have created, are they not going to work in the same way? I don't have to do that. I don't have to worry that until unless I take that initiative to get it upgraded, it will not change. So see, is it
Yeah, yeah,
answered your question? Is
yeah.
answered.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, I got it. Your point. That previous
Mhm.
one, see, that is in a production planning point of view. That is for the demand input is the SOP forecast, and in the same APO side, it is a direct will come the final demand and the forecast, and it will be applying to the MRP. But here, see, there are the two modules it's saying, demand and SOP, sales and operation planning. That what is the, because of in the, if you can see in the, instead of SOP, the demand, we are demand planning using the APO if it is there. Okay. But here the both same like that way, either only one can be used or both can be used it, or how it will be useful for that.
Mhm.
When
So
you run
Sasi,
the
you bring up
cycle, yeah.
you bring a very important question here, because so basically SAP is giving you different offerings, or which we say it as different planning areas basically. So I may be a client who wants to only use demand planning. I can use it. I may be another client who has, he says, I need demand and sales and operations. Yes, he can do. Another one wants only inventory. Another one wants both,
Demand and
all
sales
of
and
these five
operation is
modules.
a functionality basis, both are same. I thought, correct? Is it different?
It is different. It is different. I'll brief about more about the differences once we progress further on those modules point of view. But they have the differences. They have the differences. Okay.
Okay, what is, can you,
Once I typically
one,
take an example of sales and operations cycle, uh, and then probably I will explain about what are the gaps which could exist, and then probably I could brief you more about what are the differences when I do with an SAP IBP demand. See, there's something called SAP, another offering called SAP IBP demand and demand sensing.
what
These
is
are
the
the different
demand sensing?
offerings.
Demand sensing means, what is the meaning?
Demand sensing is the another new offering by SAP, which comes still under SAP IBP demand, so which makes a quick initiatives to the demand changes, and how can you effectively change your demand solutions what have been provided. So we speak about something called consensus demand going forward, how it is going to be influenced with the different algorithms which has been provided, is what we'll understand under this demand sensing.
The
Okay.
demand sensing means quick adapt changes. It's, that is the
Yes.
meaning.
Correct.
But
True.
consistency means it's nothing but forecast. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. To ensure that we are not confusing the other aspirants, I have not precisely going forward to brief about them, but probably here as a very introductory session, I just want to brief about how these different modules are offered. But when I go to the details of every module, right, probably I will brief more about what are the different topics and analogies what we use there, and what does it mean as a planner point of view for me, right?
Okay, in this your course, what are the modules you're covering? Will be covering.
Good question. So SAP IBP demand and S&OP are the two major topics for sure, and also the supply chain control tower is the topics in which we will be focusing more on. Of course, we will touch base supply, inventory, and response also, but we will be focusing more on these three modules which are most the matured models of SAP IBP. We will still touch base response, inventory, and supply also, but most of our examples and the methodologies what I'm going to speak about, they have a lot of weightage for this demand, S&OP, and supply chain control tower.
A quick question here, Raghu, that brings me one query. Across the industry, wherever it has been implemented, are these three models are majorly used, and the other
Used.
three are not much used?
Yes. Yeah. So this, as I said you, that the very beginning of SAP IBP was laid on. It was coined because of the different challenges what SAP has observed for SAP IBP for demand and sales and operations. So, and yes, supply chain control tower is the one of the very new the feature code what they have added that makes it more user friendly, and also making it customized dashboards and alerts and all, which I'm going to speak about, that makes a user precise. Or we have been seeing interactive planning in SAP APO. If I have to go back to a comparison of ECC APO world point of view, we have lot of interactive planning tools that makes user precise solutions, or user narrated point of view, what are the different um, profiles he used to maintain according to his requirements, how they were more customized to him. The similar lines I can make my supply chain control tower build. So this is the reason why this three modules have very oftenly been used, or most of the clients in the implementations point of view, this being very matured by their models also, so they have been used in most of the implementations. Yeah, but of course the other
So
modules are also, they are trying to strive hard to make it more model, because but if I speak about response, let us say it has integration with the S4HANA system, OLTP system, right? So there are some challenges what they are facing, but of course maybe in the new releases, in the roadmap of SAP, the 2108, they are trying to make response also to be announced as one of the
response
mature
means what is
models.
that actually? What does that mean?
Response planning is the one where you're trying to make your operational planning, from the tactical planning, operational planning, how are you trying to switch? So when you have the overall horizon of planning, right, you have three levels: strategic, tactical, operational. Operational being the short term, and tactical being the midterm, and strategic being the long term, right? So how are you trying to make your tactical to operational planning point of view, how are you going to make the changes to the demand or supply, and how would it impact your execution system, is what your response would do. Did it answer your question? What would a response would do?
Yeah, okay, I understood. I understood. I mean,
Yeah.
normally it is a one-way or two-way data is there, like from the ABP. Normally in APO, from the we will take the history from the some data warehouse and we'll do the plan and we'll get the final forecast. Accordingly, we'll do the like MRP everything. So here is the same flow, or is there existing current actual sales shortage is going to trigger into the IBP, and there it will be give the any indications like that or what?
We will take it, the SAP IBP as a fresh slate. Firstly, we'll not compare as how it is in APO. For most of the cases, we'll try to avoid it. But yeah, to address, so it has a two-way, communication. So it does order series and time series data. So I'm introducing too many new terms for today, but I'm sure we're going to speak about them in our upcoming sessions also. So we will make ourselves comfortable also, right? Like when I say what is an order series and what is the time series data, how do they are different, and how it is very important for you to look at it in the response point of view. You need to know what is an order series data. It has a different other additional dimensions to look at. So all that makes the planning, the configuration, the integration of those different modules, they have a different other needs which has to be fulfilled. So even if you have to go back to your ECC and APO, you have different modules there, people: PPDS, GATP, SNP, DP. So all of this did it have also had a different needs of master data, the transactional data. How would it flow? What is the granularity of the planning? It all varies, right? So the same way, the modules of SAP IBP are also inline because of the planning horizons in which they work are different. Okay. Response is especially meant in order to make a handshake between your execution system. uh, Before that, what are the changes you are going to bring up to the system is what your response could do for you. So see, did it answer
Yeah,
your question? Okay,
yeah,
nice.
it's similar. It's okay. What I understood, normally when you done the, suppose for example, 1 month forecast we have planned for the one product group, suppose day wise or weekly for 1 month. So what we expected, and in the next month, whether you achieved that, whether our forecast is correct or not, are we comparing with that both correct?
Yeah, true. So that's a right
It
direction of
means
approach.
it means already whatever is the every day it is online sales, whatever it is happening, that data immediately we are getting into the point and
Validated.
particular valid, but particular the end of the day, whether I as per my plan achieved or not, that result we are getting in this IBP, correct?
Correct. Order based. That is what we see it as order based. Very good. Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
okay,
Yes.
okay. But earlier that will not possible. We are not, I think, SAP DP that's not available.
Was not possible earlier. Yeah, it's
Not
a
yeah.
real-time data integration capabilities have making it possible
Yeah.
now. Number one.
Because of why now demand is supposed based on the today what is how the day hour is whether we the forecast error how it will be there, like whether sometimes lower level inventory is there, otherwise sometimes we didn't have inventory also, but but according to that lead tomorrow for the next coming tomorrow within hour also we can change it immediately. That
Correct.
you are saying that is the correct you are saying demand sensing, correct?
Yes, demand sensing is the one.
Okay,
So
okay.
and when I speak about demand sensing, we are going to speak about some okay, because demand sensing has been, the topic what we are speaking about. You should know that SAP IBP has already made, application interfaces, APIs to Facebook, LinkedIn, um, Twitter. Okay, now you would ask, Raghu, what are you speaking about? Why are these social networks are being integrated to an ERP solution? So people, you could think one of the best ways how you write a feedback is now use a social media. Do you all agree? Right? You say, hey, this is a wonderful product. This is a wonderful car I have seen ever. Right? You post your feedback. Right? So imagine a celebrity giving a good reviews about a new product. Don't you think that it could give a little scope of increase in the hike in the sales of it? It does, right? Right, people. So how fast am I able to take that responses and how fast am I able to respond to it? It makes me a different player in the market. So that's the reason why SAP IBP. Why SAP IBP? Well, let us try to make it more louder. What are the different other things what it has? We
It's
have
a
seen
collaborative.
what are the
That's
ERP. Sorry?
what you are saying. That is a collaborative.
Yeah, it is collaborative. Yeah, it can collaborate with the social media now. It can collaborate with the social network sites now. It's not that easy for us to collaborate there because it's an unstructured data, right? There's a difference the way how you access the data from a structured and unstructured data, right, people? So it requires a different ETL process, extraction, transformation, loading capabilities. All of them are built for IBP now. So that's something very, special about SAP IBP for the release. What is the current release? Anyone, any idea? What is the current release of SAP IBP, which we have currently running?
Should be 2021.
19 something zero
Hello,
five
Raghu.
or something.
Raghu, there is some emergency. I will just join back after 10 minutes. Huh?
Sure, please. Sure. It's 2102. The current release is 2102. Yeah. But yes, within the next. So what will be the next release in that case? Idea? What would be the name of the next release in that case?
2103.
2105. So
3 months
so
every three
first
months.
3 months. Correct.
Okay.
Nice.
02 is the February, 05 May, like that.
February. Yeah. Yes, May, right? 2105 is yes,
Yeah.
May.
So is
So
it not quarterly based kind of thing? It can be any 3 months.
for every 3 months they are doing it.
So, Raghu, how long you are planning to take this? Any timeline you have, like this demo video, I mean demo class?
Or 10
It's
minutes
already
more.
1 hour. Okay,
I
because
agree. Yeah.
uh, we do have some more questions to talk about, which would be beneficial. So, not sure how much time you need for you to complete your agenda. Maybe
Mhm.
another 5-10 minutes you can spare for question answer.
Yeah, okay. So I'll speak about this next technology to APO and about theory-based applications and also the C part, and then I'll open the questions forum for you. So Excel-based interface is also another important advantage. What we need to know that what makes SAP IBP to be a choice for multiple clients. We all know the planners are very much oftenly using Excels in the context of the planning, right? So Excel, to ensure that this Excel, which is a favorite of planners, so what SAP has did is that it has enabled IBP ribbon. So they have brought IBP onto Excel to make the planning. So that's another important advantage that makes it, some favorite choices for the clients. Okay. Next technology to APO, SAP IBP is not only just built on cloud, it is also an HANA powered we say SAP IBP powered by HANA. So it has all the different methodologies of HANA, the way how it access the data and all is also made up uh, the SAP IBP. So of course it has more data processing speed, and it also can access multiple records. So you could imagine, like, say, more than 50,000 records processing time is milliseconds. So you could imagine how faster it could be. If you have already have an experience with APO, demand planning views getting updated with the macros, which runs for around more than 10 to 15 minutes at least, and the planner is just have to wait till that time. And you could imagine it takes just microseconds now to get it updated with the views. So you could imagine, okay, why it's not, why shouldn't I say it as next technology to APO, right? Fieri based applications, yeah, Fieri based apps, sure. So Fieri is very important uh, change with the
Faster, what you saying? Could you
user
please? Sorry, what you are saying about that? How much faster for that APO to compare to APO
it
is
takes just
IBP?
microseconds for it to access more than, like, say, around 80,000 or 90,000 records. It takes microseconds for it to process.
Okay,
So to update the records, I'm saying. So that's the
okay,
speed of the SAP IBP now. So which it would have took around some minutes, at least 15 minutes or half an hour sometimes, for the planner to see the changes any happen, to see them reflected. So when the macros are running in the background of APOs, probably have to wait for some larger time. That's something very useful, right? So because for any changes, again, the planner has to wait and then proceed with his further steps of planning, right? So that's something
and here
what I would say.
also macros, everything same. APO, like subject is same. It will be there, correct? That
No, no, no.
what
As I said, it's
macros,
a fresh
planning
slate.
area. Yeah.
It is a
Okay,
fresh
okay.
slate. No.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the reason why, at a gap point of view, any prerequisite which has to be there, I will be discussing about it. So you have to do any homework? No. But do you have to, so will you be open to take up assignments? I think yes, you should be, yes, from you all, because I will be giving you a few small assignments as a progress of your learnings, which will also help you to understand and identify how SAP is trying to make its moves to the next releases. Yeah. So that I will also explain about it. Okay. Then Fieri base is also the another important advantage what we need to speak about, because it makes user friendly, right? So how would the Fieri app would look like? What is the advantage it brings when I compare it with the normal transactions based data processing that a user in the previous versions? We'll also understand that. So all of these topics are really making a difference why SAP should make this question louder, right? Why SAP IBP? Okay. So I leave with this thought process to you. And yes, then I would now take any questions if you have.
So you are done with your presentation, Raghu?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So now some common questions, or maybe kind of everybody might be interested in asking. So I am not from PP APO background. Can I still learn with a quick pace IBP,
hmm
or do you think I should have some APO background first and then only come to IBP?
I would say that you don't have to be, because as I said, it's a fresh slate. So you don't have to fill any prerequisites for it. Yeah, if you have it, it's advantage, added
Okay.
advantage, but or else you
So
don't. It's not a
that's what
mandate,
I want to
not a
understand.
prerequisite.
When you say if you have some APO background, then it's advantage in what context?
So you could easily compare what was the problem. See, when I was speaking about a macro run, it was taking some large time I was speaking. So if you had that experience, you would say, okay, this used to be a little longer time when I was using an older application, but yeah, it is faster now. That's an experience. The experience would say you that, okay, this is something different what I had.
So do I need to have a Excel means Microsoft Excel kind of expertise, means the functionalities of Excel to get cope up with IBP, or the Excel knowledge is not that important, means just basic knowledge of Excel is fine, or I need to have macros, formulae kind of thing. How do we write that in Excel that will be giving more helping hand?
IBP has introduced a different Excel ribbon. So awareness or knowledge of Excel tools and tips is not necessary to understand how do I load the data and all, number one. And I believe all of you people who have joined this call today, you are already aware that there is no ideal system for you to practice. Is that yes? Is that was a very clear instruction was given to you all?
Yeah,
Is that yes?
so the system
Yeah, yeah.
server access we will not be getting, but what
Correct.
system you will be using, that's kind of a dummy system, or it's a production live client system, or what kind of system you will be using?
Mhm. So we would all thank to one of the aspirant who was, royal enough, he was, kind enough for us to share his client system for us. So, but as it holds a confidential data, and I would request, and I would also, ensure that this the what are the screen sharings would be happening, so they should not be, published, or maybe it has to be shared to any others, because uh, on the favor of us, he's probably sharing his information. Probably, I think you would, still abide to that, right? So that you're not going to use it in any other means of your discussions with the client. Okay. So, but yeah, this is a very confidential system, is what we are going to really access.
No, no, I did not understand the answer. So you are going to use a dummy system or a production live client environment
Client
system
environment. Yeah,
to show the demo or whatever you are trying to
yeah,
teach.
because they're using a client environment, I was asking you that you kindly to be kind to me that you are not going to use it, or show this details whatever we are describing here
But
in any
will we
form
be
to your discussion.
getting the recordings of the sessions or no?
You would be getting the recordings to view
Okay.
the sessions. Yeah,
We should not publish anywhere to share. That is what that is correct. Your
yeah,
okay, correct.
correct. That is what I am trying to say, because it
You
holds a
should be
client
keep it
view.
as for your personal. That's all.
That's it.
Okay, okay, I
Yeah,
got
that
it.
is understood. The confidentiality part, we understand that. So now, since you mentioned you will be mainly focusing on demand and supply and SNOP and maybe supply
Supply chain
control
control tower.
tower, right?
Mhm.
Will that be sufficient for me to get through an interview and get a job or get through with my career aspiration?
I would not say that we are going to assist you in your job or anything of such kind. Let me brief you, but you will be the person who is ahead of the crowd, who is aware of the topics, who can correlate to the discussions with the client. When you sit with the client, and if they are, there's a discussion happening over the point of IBP, you'll be surely a confident guy to understand what do they mean and how it is something achievable using SAP IBP.
Maybe my question was not clear. I am not expecting you or Naveen to help in job hunting or getting a job.
No,
I
no,
am
it's not
asking.
for you. No,
Yeah,
it's not for you, dear. To ensure that, this is spoken in the context of all,
no,
right?
no,
Not
that is
just for
fine.
you.
But my question was, knowing those three modules, will that be sufficient enough to crack the interview and get through? I'm asking. Hello.
Um, I was just trying to say the same again. So when you say about cracking an interview, as I said, you like the requirements are, little precise. If you are speaking about if this demand sensing and sales and operations as a need, yes, of course you would be a confident guy to do that. Yes.
Okay, because you mentioned the majority of the clients are using those three modules compared to other three modules which are still in kind of a progression or in kind of innovation arena. So not sure if that is the demand in the market, the other three modules and not these three modules. So that's what I was trying to understand. Will that be sufficient enough?
It would be sufficient. The framework remains the same for also the others. We are going to speak about the basic framework firstly. Offerings of each module are different. Understanding of the modules framework and then understanding of offerings is something two different parts, right? So for inventory and all, so the new offerings are still coming up. It's an open place for you. So you could now handpick a few people who are aware of SAP IBP in this new changed world. Do you agree with that? Yes.
Yeah.
So you are already ahead of the crowd, right? To the people who are not aware of SAP IBP. That is what I was trying to say. So because when you speak about a cracking an interview, so probably there are like different aspects how it could be. So probably are you going to speak about the cases, the case studies? Or are you going to speak about the basic offerings point of view? So I have the aspirants who were able to get them placed in Bell in Canada, Microsoft, right? Who were able to they had in basic offering questions like basic solutions point of view, the basic topics about how are these modules of SAP IBP do they work and all. So they were able to crack it. So this is again a precise question, right? When you say am I going to make a crack an interview? So probably I would say it is you when it's about basic offerings point of view, you would be more confident for sure, and you will be it is yes. But when you speak about the precise case studies, probably it is again tossed to the experiences what you are going to speak about. Gajanan, hope I
Yeah, yeah.
answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, I understood. If that is the client's need, then definitely they will ask based on that, and they will be happy to go with, even if you don't have enough knowledge on the other modules. But it is still in the kind of not
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
100% complete, completely built, or it's still in progress, right? So
mm-hmm.
basically, those modules will be getting more matured as the time goes.
Goes on. Yep.
And
Yep.
one question is like, if for example now IBP is not working in the client solution due to some bug or due to some or the other reason. So do you think that is going to stop my production, or is it independent? My production and my sales are still happening as usual. There is no kind of supply chain impact, even though my IBP tool is not working or something is hampered. I'm not able to go through the process what I am supposed to do. So is it kind of very like mandatory thing which has to be there working for 24/7 to keep my production line and my supply chain going, or is it still as a kind of not so mandatory thing? My production and my supply chain is still working without IBP.
Mm-hmm. So we need to know there are like two different boxes we are speaking about. One is an execution system, what we say it as OLTP system, and the other one is a planning system, OLAP system. IBP comes to a planning system, right? So it will really not hamper your production. The shop floor is not impacted immediately the moment there is yeah, IBP is not working. There are procedures for them to restore the working of IBP and all. But for a given moment, you say, "Hey Raghu, this IBP system is not working. Will this say half an hour of time, which made my IBP not to work, will it impact my real-time production shop floor?" Would be no, right? Why? When I say about plan, I will speak about the days upcoming, weeks upcoming, months upcoming. What are we going to plan, right? Ahead of time. So this little availability, unavailability, it of course will not still shop your shop floor. Are we getting it? So, but yeah, you have your
Yeah.
ECC or S/4HANA system, which have a very tight integration with your shop floor. Let us say their availabilities are granted. How necessary are there. Their availabilities are right. You cannot have a sale order, so you cannot punch a sale order. You cannot give an invoice. All these things are correlated, right? So that's how, it's not the same way how it is when you come to a planning point of view. Okay. So, but yes, if this is not working, so how you can ensure that it is going to be getting it back, or how are you going to make a system connected to any research changes? There's something called restore active version and all. We are going to speak about it. It's also a wonderful topic what we will also speak about, wherein how do we any changes I have modified that makes my IBP to be inactive, how do I work in that case? How do I make it get it work back? So there's something an interesting topic we will speak about in our upcoming sessions.
And since we just talked about this topic, so in a majority industries, what is the least minimum time period of planning? Like for example, it's daily or weekly or monthly.
Sub-daily.
Like which is the most one used
So it depends
plan?
on what are the modules you are referring to. So if I speak about response, it is sub-daily. When you speak about demand, it is your, the buckets of your planning horizon would change from months to years, right? S&OP is it's a process of, the whole month. How do you classify the data and all? So it goes to a month. So it all depends on which modules are you going to select precisely, and what is the scope of your planning. It is on that basis it would go. So, but it is not a one single answer, but ratherly it is about what are the modules you are considering in that case.
It
How
could
are they
be
going to?
industry specific also.
It could be specific to the modules what you are referring to, and how are they going to impact your operational, tactical, and strategic planning.
Okay.
But
And
of course, yeah,
since we are
depending on
not
the
going to
industry.
get dummy system server access as such, for example, if I have to do the hands-on, or I have to do some kind of some practice. If I have that in my company, some test system
You can
or
use.
some client system I got,
Yeah,
I should be able to still use that based on your training given,
correct.
right? There should not be any
True.
problem how to, for example, if I'm using a
Yes.
sandbox
Answer
or
is
kind of a
yes.
test system,
I get it, and the answer is yes.
okay, there is no like I am not going to impact the whole system by doing some practice work there.
I'll explain you what are the steps you have to follow when especially working with some things, some topics
Mhm,
they need something critical attention. That is
mhm.
something specific to the topic, but yeah, answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I really appreciate all your patience hearing me all this time. And yes, thank you once again to all of you people who joined for this session.
Yeah,
And I
Raghu,
believe,
finally, one question.
Mhm,
Uh, what is that meaning demand-driven MRP? Hmm?
mhm. So yeah, it's a new offering altogether, demand-driven MRP. So you should be seeing something called predictive MRP. You have any idea on it? Predictive MRP,
No, no, no. That meaning
long
I don't know.
long-term planning. Any idea?
Yeah, long-term planning, I know that. Simulation mode.
Yeah, so it is next level of your long-term planning, I would say, the better solution of your long-term planning, just for you to
Oh,
correlate.
okay,
We can brief it more about, but just for your simple, easy analysis point of view, it's
okay,
next new advancement of a long-term planning point of view. How you are trying to make your demands changes, or how are you trying to make your MRP successful, more effective, efficient, is what your demand-driven MRP is all about.
So,
Yeah.
are you covering this in this course also? That one, what you're saying, self-led planning, driven also?
No, 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 no. This all requires a complete different license for us to even to access those planning areas.
Okay.
As of
But the basic IBP license, these are all the
we will
modules in
speak
that.
about, yeah, our basic IBP license is not something like that. We have different planning areas offerings. When I introduce this topic, I'm sure you'll understand, okay, how
Oh,
how would a client think about. I'm going to use some user stories, and then probably we'll
okay,
understand how do we go to a finalization of solution. Okay, which offerings would a client would look for, and what are the different ways how we can configure his system. That we'll understand.
okay.
So Raghu, if you
We
don't
need
mind,
to,
a couple of questions.
when you're purchasing that IBP, that from the SAP, we need to go with that requirement also, solution requirement along with that, or what? It
Come
means
again?
when we want to buy the IBP, suppose, so we
Mm-hmm.
need to go with requirement.
Yes. Yes, we will have to know about the what are the requirements, and on the basis which offerings has to be selected, we have to know that.
Mhm. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
okay.
Our sessions would last for around 25 to 30 hours of duration, right?
Okay.
And this is the overall duration. And it's not a fixed number because the gap analysis sessions could vary. So that's the reason why it could change. And we are expecting the sessions to be on weekends with 2 hours of duration, 5 to 7, and Saturdays and Sundays. And if you have any other proposals, you could let Naveen know that. Okay.
So Raghu, couple of questions if you don't mind, if you have time.
please.
Yeah, in this planning, whatever planning we do, can we go to the customer level planning, like kind of product allocation we do, reservations, kind of level of planning? Can we go to that customer level planning?
We have something called planning levels. Then you'll understand the topic here. Yes. Answer is
To
yes.
that
Okay.
to that level, we can go for certain products. I want to go to that level. I can still do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And from a job market perspective, do you see a good opportunity coming up, or in the current prevailing market, there is a demand for this module?
These are the two new latest offerings of SAP. So, as I said, new offerings of SAP. So more clients are trying to go for greenfield and brownfield implementation. Yes, you have more
Mhm.
scope uh, for this. Yeah.
So, do you see domestic, offshore, or on-site opportunities, as well as we have good
I see across
client-based
the globe. I
across
see
the
across
globe?
the globe, and I have my aspirants who are there across the globe, like Canada, UK, US,
Mhm, mhm.
Australia. So I see this the scope is across the globe at least, and of course
Okay.
in India also. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So once again, thank you so much for all your time. You can reach out to Naveen, who is your coordinator, to get any of your questions further or on the way how the sessions would be starting, how
So,
fast and all.
so
Naveen will
Raghu,
help you out.
one last question. So there are many other tools or applications available, similar to IBP, some other
Mm-hmm.
companies are offering. So what is that something unique selling point or unique uh, advantage here compared to those in IBP, which would be preferred by client to go for IBP? Can you just put a couple of such advantages, pros?
The first is being, as I said you that SAP has come with the previous experiences of what it has been engaged with the different clients. So though you have Anaplan, which is also a competitor of SAP IBP, though it is taking to replicate a few of the feature codes of SAP IBP, but still it's market leader. The reason being, what are the different experiences they had, like in the context of SAP integration with different collaborators, in the context of the integration capabilities of SAP, like you have Ariba example, you have different other, say Dell Boomi is there for you, you have Informatica. How are you trying to make the integration capabilities faster and easily accessible is something very important we need to know. The whole framework, when I speak about the building blocks, you would see that the whole framework is made in such a way that the client can adopt to it with any already existing landscape he has. You have ECC, APO, and then you want to, appreciate IBP additionally. Yes, you are. You only have JD adverts. You want to use IBP for your planning. You're off. You're welcome. You still use a normal legacy system to do your planning earlier, and you want to, little emphasize it, enhance it to IBP. Yes, you are welcome. So you see a different base, any customer base it is. SAP is trying to still make up the solution as a platform where they can integrate. It's a very important advantage that makes it to be different than
Yeah.
any other
So
solutions.
Raghu, that brings up one question to me. Since it is compatible not only with SAP, some other ERP tools also it can integrate and it can work in the same way, right? How it is
That's in the
currently
roadmap
working
of
with
SAP.
SAP.
Correct. It's a
So,
roadmap.
as a SAP consultant, if I go through your training or if I get into IBP, then still I will be able to do the IBP implementation or support, even though there is no SAP,
Hmm.
but IBP is with
Hmm.
JD Edwards, like that.
Hmm.
So there is no
Hmm.
change, or there is nothing something additional I have to learn, because it is not SAP ERP, it is a different ERP, but IBP is common platform. Do you think like that, or just IBP information or knowledge training is important, that is sufficient for me to handle any ERP system it is going to integrate?
See, dear, you say product here in IBP, but you need to know that we say it as a commodity in JD Edwards. Okay, so you have to frame that. Integration capabilities point of view, awareness of it is needed. I will not fake it up saying that only when you know IBP it is sufficient, right? But of course some awareness about that system is also needed when you are trying to work with other than SAP ECC system or SAP S/4HANA system, right? But I'm sure this awareness framework awareness will help you. Where am I going to fit this information of S4 HANA, or sorry, some other OLTP system? Where am I going to fix it to IBP is what you are going to be aware of, that which is very important, right? You're not going to make a placement of a square in a circle, right? That's not very important for us. So that framework is going to be useful for you. If any other ERP solutions, of course, that awareness is helpful for you, because you have to speak about the integration capabilities also there, right, Gajanan?
Yeah, integration is definitely, that's a kind of must and should. We need to have some technical help there. It's not like a
That's it.
functional will do that integration part, but when it comes to, as you
The
mentioned,
frame,
some,
the way of IBP working is not differing. It's not
yeah,
changing. It's
yeah.
going to be the same. Yeah.
Hmm.
That is there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then I really appreciate the questions what you have come up with. Thank you. And I believe your questions have been answered. Yes. In that
Yeah,
case, if no other questions for me, I would say let's call up the day.
sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.